What if a hidden mark could decide your eternal fate, and you might be carrying it without even knowing? For centuries, people have speculated about the mark of the beast, the seal of God, and the number 666, but few know the shocking truth behind these symbols in Revelation 13. Are your daily choices leading you toward false worship? This video uncovers what the mark of the beast truly means and how it could impact your life in ways you never expected. Ready to see where you stand? If you're ready for answers that could change everything, hit like and subscribe to join us on this journey. Don't forget to turn on notifications so you never miss a powerful revelation. Together, let's dive into the mysteries of biblical prophecy. This is one video you won't want to miss. The mark of the beast, as described in Revelation 13, is one of the Bible's most enigmatic symbols. It goes beyond a physical mark and delves into spiritual allegiance. The prophecy describes a time when individuals will face a critical choice between God's truth and the deception of false worship. This mark signifies a deeper spiritual alignment that will be revealed in the actions and choices of each person. Revelation 13 paints a vivid picture of this symbolic mark, as well as the powers that enforce it. These beasts are depicted as agents of Babylon, a powerful system of false worship that leads many astray. The beasts serve as tools to push humanity toward an alignment with systems that oppose God's principles. Here, the term beast represents a powerful entity or institution steering people away from God. Understanding the mark of the beast means recognizing that it's not just a matter of appearances or labels. It reflects a shift in loyalty, whether we align with God's seal or embrace the deceptive path Babylon represents. This choice transcends time and culture, becoming especially relevant in the face of challenges to biblical prophecy. It's a mark of inner values and ultimate allegiance. The Bible hints that the mark of the beast challenges the Sabbath, a symbol deeply connected with God's seal. Sabbath observance is a sign of loyalty to God's commandments and reverence for divine order. The prophecy suggests that in the end times, false worship systems will work hard to counterfeit these truths, urging people to follow ways that seem right but stray from God's true path. The concept of the mark of the beast is not about mere symbols. It's about the subtle ways we're influenced to compromise our beliefs. As Revelation 13 warns, these choices reflect our response to divine principles versus the easy allure of popular opinion. The mark ultimately asks us, will we follow the crowd or will we stand firm with God's seal? The seal of God represents a divine mark of allegiance, a contrast to the mark of the beast in Revelation 13. This seal isn't physical but spiritual, symbolizing a commitment to God's truth and commandments. Through biblical prophecy, we understand that this seal is granted to those who choose to follow God's ways wholeheartedly, often set against the widespread influence of Babylon. Central to this concept are the three angels' messages found in Revelation 14, which act as a clarion call for faithfulness. These angels bring warnings about false worship, urging people to recognize the deceptions surrounding them. The messages highlight a choice between following the true Sabbath and succumbing to systems that challenge God's authority. It's a divine wake-up call, asking humanity to discern truth from deception. Each of the three angels' messages builds upon the previous one, emphasizing the gravity of the final decision humanity faces. The first angel urges worship of the Creator, while the second exposes Babylon's fall, a symbol of false worship. The third warns of the consequences for those who accept the mark of the beast, painting a picture of the urgent spiritual crossroads ahead. The seal of God is also closely associated with observing the Sabbath, a day of rest God ordained as a sign of His covenant. Observing the Sabbath isn't just ritualistic. It's an act of alignment with God's commandments and divine order. In a world where secular pressures push for compromise, honoring the Sabbath becomes a powerful statement of loyalty to God's truth. Ultimately, the seal of God stands as a beacon of hope amid confusion. It marks those who have chosen to resist the allure of Babylon and false worship. Revelation 13 and 14 emphasize this choice, as individuals are invited to secure their spiritual alignment with God's principles, resisting the deceptions that dominate in the last days. False worship, as depicted in Revelation, represents a shift from true worship of God to devotion to human-made systems, often symbolized by Babylon. This concept isn't limited to statues or rituals, but reflects the heart's allegiance. In these end times, Revelation 13 warns of a system encouraging people to stray from God's commandments, emphasizing worldly values over the seal of God. The Sabbath stands as a clear symbol of true worship, a day God sanctified and set apart as His. Observing the Sabbath aligns believers with the Creator, serving as a reminder of divine order and rest. When we choose to honor the Sabbath, we are choosing to follow God's design over man-made traditions, rejecting the influence of false worship encouraged by the mark of the beast. False worship promotes convenience and compromise, contrasting with the commitment required to honor the true Sabbath. Many find it easier to follow societal norms, dismissing the Sabbath as irrelevant. However, by keeping the Sabbath, believers make a powerful statement, choosing God's seal over Babylon's influence, choosing allegiance to divine law over popular opinion. Practically, honoring the Sabbath could mean stepping back from work, dedicating time to spiritual reflection, and spending time with loved ones. This day of rest is not a restriction but a gift, helping believers reconnect with God. It provides a counterbalance to the relentless drive of modern life, inviting individuals to experience peace and divine alignment against false worship's demands. In the end, false worship and the true Sabbath reflect two opposing paths. Revelation 13 presents this choice, with the mark of the beast pushing individuals toward a life disconnected from God's design. True Sabbath observance, in contrast, keeps believers anchored in the seal of God, strengthening their spiritual resolve as they navigate a world of compromise. The number 666, often associated with the mark of the beast, has stirred curiosity and fear, yet its meaning in Revelation 13 is more profound. This number symbolizes imperfection, falling short of God's completeness represented by the number 7. It's a reminder of humanity's attempt to replicate divine authority, showing the flaws in systems of false worship that oppose God's seal and true Sabbath. In the context of biblical prophecy, 666 represents a counterfeit of God's law, where man-made principles attempt to substitute God's commandments. This counterfeiting can be seen in practices and ideologies that stray from divine truth, often cloaked as acceptable or even righteous. The mark of the beast isn't just a number, but a mindset that aligns with Babylon's deceptive ways, leading people away from God's design. False worship systems embody the essence of 666, inviting individuals to worship according to human traditions rather than God's commands. They present appealing alternatives that seem easier or more modern, yet lack the essence of divine truth. This counterfeit aims to replace God's law with a version tailored to fit human desires, subtly encouraging believers to abandon the principles of the seal of God. Many people may not even realize when they're being led into this counterfeit. Social and cultural pressures often promote practices that directly challenge God's commandments. To resist this influence, individuals can study biblical prophecy, examining God's law and its implications for daily life. Understanding the significance of 666 helps discern the genuine path, keeping the focus on the Sabbath and God's seal. Ultimately, the number 666 challenges believers to choose whom they will serve. Revelation 13 highlights this choice between God's authority and human institutions that defy His law. The counterfeit presented by Babylon may appear enticing, but the true path lies in aligning with God's commandments, choosing His seal over a flawed system that can never fully replicate His divine order. Babylon, as depicted in Revelation, symbolizes a grand system of false worship that opposes God's authority. Its fall, prophesied in Revelation 14, represents the collapse of human institutions that have led people away from the seal of God. This event underscores the urgency of rejecting these systems and returning to a true relationship with God, marked by observance of the Sabbath and alignment with divine principles. The term Babylon isn't just about a physical place, but embodies confusion and rebellion against God's commandments. This system seduces people with appealing but deceptive values, steering them from God's law. The prophecy warns that clinging to Babylon's ideals means rejecting the seal of God and ultimately aligning with the mark of the beast. It's a call to discern between true and false worship. False worship under Babylon includes practices that seem harmless or culturally acceptable, yet contradict God's commandments. These systems promote values that prioritize human desires over divine instruction, enticing believers to compromise on biblical principles. By choosing the Sabbath and God's law, individuals make a stand against the subtle influence of Babylon's allure, reinforcing their commitment to the seal of God. Babylon's fall signals a shift, urging people to step away from these compromised systems before they collapse. This is a call to realign with God's truth, avoiding the confusion and instability false worship brings. Just as people wouldn't invest in a failing business, so should they avoid investing spiritually in a structure destined to fall, as the prophecy of Revelation 13 warns. In the end, the fall of Babylon serves as a powerful reminder to seek stability in God's eternal principles rather than fleeting human institutions. The allure of Babylon may be strong, but those who choose the seal of God over the mark of the beast align with a foundation that stands firm even in turbulent times. It's a choice that impacts not only the present but the eternal. The beasts described in Revelation 13 play a critical role in the unfolding prophecy, symbolizing forces that oppose God's truth. These beasts represent powerful systems and institutions that seek to lead people away from the seal of God and the observance of the Sabbath. Through their influence, they push humanity toward false worship, subtly shifting allegiances from divine to worldly principles. The first beast, rising from the sea, represents a system that has accumulated power through control and manipulation, demanding loyalty that rivals devotion to God. This beast's authority is not merely political but spiritual, affecting how people worship. By aligning with the mark of the beast, individuals unknowingly support a system that stands in direct opposition to God's law and the principles of biblical prophecy. The second beast, emerging from the earth, uses a different approach to influence worship practices. This beast symbolizes a power that enforces false worship through persuasion and coercion, encouraging people to abandon the Sabbath in favor of man-made traditions. It serves as an ally to Babylon, working tirelessly to establish a counterfeit worship that opposes the seal of God. These beasts operate by creating appealing alternatives that may seem righteous but lack the substance of God's commandments. For many, the pressures to conform to these systems are subtle, often presented as harmless or culturally relevant choices. However, Revelation 13 warns that these choices carry spiritual consequences, as they lead individuals away from true worship and into the grasp of the mark of the beast. Ultimately, the beasts of Revelation 13 remind believers of the stakes involved in their worship choices. Aligning with the seal of God and observing the Sabbath requires discernment, as these beasts continue to promote systems that stand in opposition to divine truth. By understanding their role in biblical prophecy, believers are better prepared to resist false worship and stand firm in their commitment to God's law. You've seen the powerful implications behind the mark of the beast, the seal of God, and the prophecy of Revelation 13. Now, the real question is, what will you do with this knowledge? Are you willing to stand firm against the forces of false worship, or will you let Babylon's influence slip into your life without even noticing? The choice is more urgent than ever, and it's yours to make. If this video helped open your eyes, don't forget to like and subscribe to stay with us on this journey of discovery. Hit the notification bell to make sure you never miss an episode, and share this video with someone who needs to hear this message. Together, let's uncover more truths and stay prepared for what lies ahead.